This episode is proudly supported by the New Home Electrical Specialist. If you're building new homes out there, you already know electrical is one of those trades where shortcuts show up later and usually at the worst time. The New Home Electrical Specialist focus purely on residential new builds. They understand the sequencing, the pressure, and what builders actually need on site. Clear communication, proper training, proper planning, and work that's done right the first time. If you want an electrical partner who knows how new homes really get built, head to tnhes.com.au to learn more. They're absolute legends. Good morning and welcome to the Good Builder podcast. This gentleman needs no introduction because we've had him on a few times, and he, in my view, was one of the best builders in Australia, and now he's gone on to form his own business in 1,000 Feet Deep, which is all about supporting and helping the leadership and culture of teams in building businesses and beyond. He's done so much for the industry, but he put up a post the other day around seasons that I absolutely loved because I kind of have this same philosophy and I didn't know that this gentleman did. And I read it and I was like, I call different periods of my life seasons, and you go through them and you learn a lot of stuff. I'm going through a pretty deep season at the moment where I am probably, it's probably a timely chat with Dan because I'm pretty fired up about a few things that are happening in the building industry, and I need to learn how to cope with it because one of the things that I just said to Dan before the pod is there's a copious amount of money spent in the building industry, and not a lot of it actually gets to the builders to support them and help them. And I'm like, where did that $300 million go for apprentices and then you get like 47% of them complete? Why don't we give the other $150 million to people like Dan that can help businesses and builders understand what they can control in their businesses and build better businesses despite the environments that they operate in, because you can't control that stuff. So anyway, that's my little rant. We'll probably get into it a little bit more as we talk, but I am welcoming to the podcast a gentleman I think deserves $150 million to run his programs. Dan Urquhart from 1,000 Feet Deep. How are you, mate?
Going well, my bro. Going really well, mate. Thanks.
That's good, man. Yeah, sorry, mate. I got a little fired up before we started this podcast because I went on a rant with a few things, but I'm so glad you're here because you always send to me, and you're completely correct. The post the other day that you wrote, I really loved, mate. It was around, seasons and getting through seasons. And I go through a few. I go through a few where I'm really positive on the industry. I'll be honest here. I'm really positive. I'm like, yeah, let's go. Let's look at all the positive stuff. And right now, unfortunately, man, I came back from Melbourne. I learned a few things. I'm looking at where the $33 billion of the government went, where only about 887 homes were built from it. Went down to the builders, and I'm like, I'm in this negative season, man, getting a little more aggressive with the way I'm talking on the podcast and even in our videos and social. And I don't want to be that as well. I want to be measured. I want to be controlled. I want to make sure that, what I'm saying is not just a rant, but actually people are going to listen to it and go, he's got a point. He's not just being angry over an issue. Like there's a solution there.
Yeah.
Well, mate, I guess from all of that, where, your philosophy on seasons and that sort of thing, where did that come from, Dan? Because we've known each other for a few years and I never knew you sort of thought like that, man.
Yeah, mate. Yeah. Well, I think it's really important, mate, for us to understand the seasons we go through. So, quickly, what do we mean by seasons? Well, sometimes we go through really easy periods where, in business, the sales are coming through the door, everyone seems to be getting on, the customers are all happy. It's probably fairly rare, but, it does happen where there's easy seasons. We know as builders, some jobs are just easy. They just flow really well. And then there's other seasons and it's just like everything's hard. Everything's a grind. Everything's an issue. And sometimes it can be because it might be a startup or in our own personal lives, mate. We have kids. Yeah. That's always tough. That's a tough season, having kids. And so, I've always thought of my life as seasons. What I haven't always done well, though, is prepared well for the next one to come and coped well with the one that I'm in. And so I feel like it is a good discussion just to talk about probably those couple of things. How do we, cope well and make the best of the situation, the season we're in, and how do we prepare for the next one? Because one thing's true about seasons, they come and go, whether they're good or bad.
And you know what? That's what I love, Dan. That's why I gravitated to that sort of philosophy. And when I saw you speak about it, I'm like, man, I like you even more. And I don't think I can have much more love for you. There's a lot,
Ah,
mate.
cool.
But like, it is. You got to remember that and that's why I probably used it in my life to go, it's just a season.
Yeah,
Probably in the bad times. In the good times, you go, hope this season lasts. You don't probably call it a season, but you've got to remember that the good times also sometimes don't. They're never going to last. Everything's temporary. When they say happiness is a fleeting sort of feeling and
exactly,
things.
mate.
So you've always got to be prepared. And that's what I also, along with the philosophy of it's not here forever, that I took from you post. And I think it's really cool, man. So,
Yeah,
well, Dan, how do people sort of figure out when you're flat out, running a building business and dealing with all this stuff, or
yeah,
you're in a period like me or a season like me where you're going down rabbit holes you shouldn't and you just can't stop. How do you
yeah.
identify you're in a season? I probably have just talking to you actually this last 5 minutes, but how do you actually identify what season you're in and what you can sort of do to move past it or plan for the next?
Yeah, good thought, mate. So sometimes, well, it's like, weather seasons and weather patterns. If you're in business and leadership long enough, wow, this is just a grind. All right, we just got to see this through. Oh,
Yeah.
guys, we're in a really good period at the moment. Things seem to be going well and flowing well, but it this mightn't last. Let's get back to basics. So I think we intuitively know
Yeah.
the season that we're in a lot of times. What's probably not so intuitive is preparing for the next season. This I think this is just a loose philosophy. I wouldn't
Mm.
say that, this is something that our listeners are going to be able to take away and it's going to be earth shattering. I feel like, we kind of know, and you can get caught in the grind sometimes, so there's a couple which is not helpful when you're just
Yeah.
caught in the grind, you don't look up and you just,
No.
there's seasons like that where, you just got to work hard. You just got to buckle down. You
Yeah.
just got to move through it. So again, it's like the season you're in, you kind of know what you got to do. It's preparing for the season that's coming. That's where I think we really need to start to pay attention to.
Yeah.
And so what are we talking about there? So it's really important that, COVID would be a really good example.
Perfect example.
COVID caught a lot of people off guard. Let's just talk specifically about the building industry. And
Yep.
so we're at whatever was going on in the foundations of our business, COVID came, bang.
Mm.
And next thing you know, and it's kind of goes back to this philosophy that we talk about which is if you don't have a foundation, sooner enough, the cracks are going to appear. And during
Yeah.
COVID, cracks started appearing. Now, not because we were horrible people or terrible builders, just because success has weight.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
the success of that time, which was builds, in any normal time, more builds equals success. That's great, awesome. But it came with every other issue: trade limitations,
Yeah.
material supply issues,
Yeah.
price increases, every single thing. And so
Mm.
what happens is it starts to expose where we are and how well we're prepared for it.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
And if you haven't prepared, and this is the thing with seasons, if you will, if you haven't kept an eye on the future, because it's essentially what leadership is, it's visionary. So there's a tension with that. How do we stay vision focused, future focused, preparing for what's to come, whilst also being faithful with the here and now?
Yeah.
In other words, how do we not be frustrated with the season we're in, but have enough discipline to be able to move through it and have our teams move through it and keep an eye on the future without
Love it.
sort of being that future focus that we're no good right now? And I found
Yeah.
myself, mate, just recently like that. We're in a new startup, as you know, and it's
Yeah.
been going well, 1,000 feet deep. We're helping people, which
Bloody
is
oath.
our main goal, but it's a new business, mate. We're in the
Yeah.
grind, you know?
Yeah.
But I could get
This
that
is
busy in the right here and now that I'm not setting up the systems and processes and keeping my eye on what's to come, because this grind season, it'll shift.
yeah.
And will I be ready? That's the question.
I loved it all, Dan. And I think you said it wasn't earth shattering. I think this is going to be earth shattering for people, as simple as it sounds. I think there's a lot of people out there. I'm going to take this as an example, and I know it's a far off example, but I know this or knew this woman, and I still know her, but she went through a divorce. And this was about 2 years ago. And I remember saying to her, don't worry about it. It's just a season. And
Okay.
that's as basic as it is. And I didn't want to downplay what she'd been through.
Yep.
But the next time I met her, she said to me, I'm over that season.
Yeah, good.
And that's cool, Dan. Like,
Jeez.
and I think a lot of people need to hear this right now. We're in a season. We're going into a season right now in
That's right. The
construction.
season's shifted.
Mate,
Absolutely. Yeah.
the war, the infrastructure that needs to happen for the Olympics up
ready.
here in Southeast Queensland,
Yep.
the infrastructure that needs to happen around Australia, the problems that we're having right now to meet the housing accord. Like, this is one of the wildest seasons we've ever had. So, like, knowing that, Dan, and I love how you said, how do you stay present enough but future focused enough? Like, how are you helping leaders and businesses do that, Dan? Like, how do you do that, mate? Because I find it completely hard. Like, you've calmed me down in the podcast that we've done and the 5-minute chat we've had beforehand, because you saw me come on. I've got my daughter Crook. She's down the Gold Coast. I need to go pick her up. I'm looking at $33 billion and wondering where the hell it went, and I'm just in this, and I need to move past it, mate. So that, to get back onto what the Good Builder is about as well. And what was our core purpose. And you kind of mentioned that with foundations, but how do you do it, mate?
Yeah, that's really good. Well, you also said something at the beginning, mate, and it's we just need to be able to influence what we can influence. A lot of times there's a lot of external noise to our business, to our businesses, and it's not like it's not real. It's not like it doesn't affect us, but we're not in control of it. And we need to start to think, okay, what can I influence right now? Okay. And what we want to do is we want to start with, okay, so why do we exist? Mission. Let's get back. You've said it yourself. Let's get back to what the Good Builder was about. And I would say to any builders out there, let's just know why, not what you do. If all you are is what you do, what separates you from every other builder in town? We need to know why we exist as an organization.
Yeah.
And so, I'll give you an example of when we owned GJ's. It was like, for us, it was,
Go for it.
it was, for years, we didn't have a mission. And what it meant was I was just every other business, just bobbing around the ocean, getting carried away by the rip, and the tide, and you just feel like you haven't really got a foundation. You're just a builder, and there's nothing wrong with being a builder, but we didn't have an identity. I didn't know why we existed. Our mission gave us an identity, and it gave us a foundation to work from. Now our mission became experience quality, that everybody that comes into contact with GJ Gardner Homes would experience quality. And that touched everything we did.
Yeah.
That touched our customer care process, that touched our systems and processes, the way we trained our teams, the way we treated our trades, because it wasn't just the customer experience, it was everybody that came into contact.
Yeah.
Now, why is that important? Because, regardless of the season we're in, we've only got one responsibility: experience quality.
I love it.
Experience quality. You got to know why you exist in these seasons. And I love what you said, as we are coming.
Yeah.
Just in case you are wondering where we are entering a different season.
Yeah.
This is COVID-like. Now, please don't hear me say doom and gloom. I'm not saying that, hold on, it's going to be horrible. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is the season's coming.
Yeah.
The question is, what's it going to demand of you?
Yeah.
Now, what are some other things we can control? Really important, as we need to know why we exist so that we can achieve that one goal. Now, if you've got a strong enough mission, that will affect everything you do. Because remember, everything's a byproduct beyond that.
Yeah.
The way we treat our customers, experience quality, the way we treat our teams, the way we develop our teams, the way we get them up for game day every single day, then the way that they treat everybody outside of our business. And then, of course, all right, now, obviously, sales are important. They're no less important. They're more important. Then but sales are great. But this is the thing we've said with COVID, just an example. Sales is great. Success was awesome. But then we had to build them.
Yeah. Yeah, Dan.
And so all right, well, let's look at our departments at the moment, moving into a different season. Are we ready? Are we ready for a downturn? Are we ready for an uplift? We're not magic. We don't know what's coming, but are we ready? Are we ready for every eventuation? This is what a leader needs to be able to do. And this is why seasons are so important. A leader needs to be able to be present in the here and now, but they need to be able to see into the future, and they need to be able to have their best guess, if you will, or they need to be able to influence what's to come.
Yeah.
And if we don't do this as leaders, we get caught out. Get caught out, and it's horrible, scary.
Mate, very cool. The piece around having, who you are, bit of your why, and the foundation will anchor you in any season, it sounds like, Dan. If you've got that piece right, why you exist, why you do what you do. You're not what you do, as you said, but why you're doing it, because then you start to make the right decisions, don't you? You're not moving with the season sometimes. You're actually staying solid as who you are,
That's
and
it.
just almost letting the season pass, but doing your best to weather the season with who, like you said, experience quality. I saw you do it yourself. Like, I remember when you were at GJ's, mate, like we were, we had, I remember talking to you and then reaching out to Nat to come on as, one of our head judges of a design thing on social media, because I was so impressed, because I knew that every time someone touched your GJ franchise, they experienced quality from the people, from the build, from everything. And it didn't
Thanks,
matter
mate.
the season. That was really, it's all starting to make sense, Dan. So
And we went through some tough seasons too, mate. And
you
that,
wouldn't know it, but this is it. You
yeah,
anchored the business,
it
because
anchored the
it's
business.
what you're teaching now, I reckon, Dan. Like, you're teaching businesses how to weather seasons, mate. And like you said, we're going into a big one. But could you tell us a little bit about how you're working with businesses right now to do that? Because as you said, I think we're going through it right now. Like,
Yeah.
you know, mate, feel
Yeah.
free to talk about your program and things that you're doing too, because I do think fundamentally, as you said, like, a lot of us don't know what we're doing it. We just get out there and we do it, and we just kind of go through the task. A build will come, we'll pick up the client. Why? Is it the right client? Are we taking on too much? Like, how do you find all that out?
Yeah, well, mate, unfortunately, unfortunately and fortunately, we find out the hard way, and there's nothing wrong
Yeah,
with that. That's life, and you don't know what you don't know. And so we need to be, look, really serious here, mate. Like, we need to we need to be able to be forgiving towards ourselves. We need to be able to be light-hearted in life. In other words, what am I saying? So you're going to learn stuff the hard way. You're going to make mistakes. That's okay.
yeah,
Everyone's making those. Everyone makes mistakes. And I don't
yeah,
mean, like, get on social media, and they talk about mistakes and they talk about discipline. They talk about all these really hard edge things, and you're meant to embrace it. Hey, look, no one likes to fail.
yeah,
No one likes to make mistakes, but it's going to happen, and that's okay. What do we learn out of it? What do
yeah,
we, what is it? How can that make us better? Because this is the thought: when you've got a really strong mission, it's not that the issues that you face are any less real. They just don't measure up to what you are, who you are, and where you're going.
yeah,
You know what I mean?
yeah.
So it's like, this is the thing. When I didn't have a really strong
I
mission and
love
a
it.
foundation in my organization, every problem I faced, even if it was a 3, felt like a 10, because
Yeah,
I couldn't measure it up against anything. And
yeah,
so a really strong mission, what it does is it gives you a backbone, it gives you a foundation, it gives you founding, grounding, and it helps you right size the issues you face. Because
yeah,
it's like, well, in comparison to where we're going, this is what we'll do to change what I just faced. We're going to go through
yeah,
stuff. We're going to make mistakes, but because we're going to experience quality, these are the changes I'm going to make to make sure that never happens again. But
yeah,
other than that, if you
yeah,
don't have that, all that happens is you're just seeing the issues, the tensions, the mistakes. So we
yeah,
would say, okay, well, there's a ground zero:
yeah.
mission, vision, core values. Now,
Love it.
here's another really, really big one. In a season, what seemingly could look like lack,
Yeah,
there's going to be builders that are going to want to pull back.
yeah,
The best of investors ramp it up.
yeah,
You need to
yeah,
ramp it up. Now, I'm not saying go and spend millions of dollars on things that don't matter,
yeah,
because you've got to be wise. You've got to be business savvy. But we need to double down on those things that are going to help us weather whatever's to come.
yeah.
We need to get
Absolutely.
very clear around mission, vision, core values, who we are as an organization.
Yeah,
We need to get very clear and very deliberate around team and culture development and the
yeah,
communication that we're having with our teams.
yeah,
We had an annual theme during COVID, and it was set the expectation.
yeah.
So
Love
what
it.
were we saying to our teams?
Yeah,
Guys, things are changing every single day. We need to be the ones that are setting the expectation for our clients.
yeah,
Because if we're letting the news do it, they're going to be coming to us, asking us all sorts of questions full of fear. We need to be in front of our clients and our trades and our suppliers. We need to be setting the expectations around where we are as a business, what we need, what to expect. Customers, unfortunately, build times have blown out. Why? Because
yeah,
we can't get trades. Nobody can get trades. The whole world can't get trades. Well, if you don't tell a client that, we could get bricks yesterday, but we can't get bricks today. Why?
yeah.
Because they make them here locally. That maybe that was a bad example. Let's say tiles.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Tiles. Well, the boat's stuck.
Yeah.
outside
Yeah,
of our
yeah.
control. I mean, we couldn't get aluminium, it was harder to get
Yeah.
glass. And so if
Yeah.
you're not setting the expectations, if you're not ramping up communication, but what we're getting at too, as is what we need to double down on what's really important during seasons of uncertainty.
Yep.
And I would say this, the foundations of that orbit, leadership, team, culture, they're the
Yeah.
things you can control.
Yep.
Your
And
leadership,
never
the
oh,
way you communicate, how you set the expectation, empowering the outcome, empowering your team, measuring the results, know where your business is up to, holding people accountable, making sure that we're all heading in the right direction. And then
yeah.
team, we're looking at skill set, mindset, and character. Hand, head, heart. We're going to make sure that our team, as fearful as it is, as uncertain as things might be, that our teams are turning up skill set, mindset, character every single day. And guess
Yeah.
whose job that is to make sure that's happening?
The leader.
The leader's job. And then
Yeah.
collectively, we need to work on culture. Leadership,
Yeah.
leaders and the teams work on the culture together. What are we talking about? We're talking about capacity, the ability to be able to carry what's coming. Then
Love
we're
it.
looking at system and process, role and responsibility, and cultural health. We're all
Yeah.
responsible for that. Hey, guys,
Yeah.
that's what we in business are responsible for.
Yeah.
Everything else is a byproduct. You think about it, mate. You got leadership, team, culture, and what we just mentioned, set the expectation, empower the outcome, make sure that you're empowering those around you, measure the result, holding people accountable. Then you got team, hand, head, heart, skill set, mindset, and character. Then you got culture and capacity, system and process, role and responsibility, cultural health. Everything else is a byproduct of that.
Yeah.
You get those things right, the finances will be more stable. It might be tough. I'm not saying that it's going to be a cream season. I'm not saying it's a summer season or a spring season where everything's great. We're moving into a different season, but you need to be able to influence the outcome. How do you
Yeah.
influence it? You influence it through leadership, team, and culture. What about reputation? It's a byproduct.
Yeah.
What
Yeah.
about consistency? That's a byproduct. What about teamwork? Byproduct. What about unity through hard times? Byproduct. What about communication? Byproduct. Every single aspect of our organization that we chase after are a byproduct of leadership, team, and culture.
Here's something some of our audience may not know about this month's podcast sponsor, pay.com.au. You can actually double dip on your rewards, pay your business bills inside the Pay platform and earn your credit card rewards points, then pay off that credit card inside the same platform and earn Pay rewards. Same money, double rewards. Plus, for our Good Builder audience, you get 20,000 bonus points when you use the code GOOD20. Now, terms and conditions do apply, so go to the website pay.com.au/TGB to find out more.
You're completely correct, Dan. Like, I've got nothing else to say, mate. Like, I think if businesses have a great leader and they know all of that, you set yourself up for success no matter the season. And while, like you said, you might not make the money because of forces outside of your control or whatever, you'll get through it.
You'll
I
get
tell you
through it.
what,
Where a
everything
lot
that
of
you've
people
been
don't.
everything you've been saying, mate, has been really interesting for me coming back from my trip to Melbourne. And I briefly mentioned this just before, we jumped on and recorded this thing. But I said to you, we met Anthony Blackshaw, and I'd love to introduce him to you, from Henley Property Group CEO. And I must say, he was the leader that I felt had all of that together. He was the only leader when I went to meet them that introduced me to their team.
Wow. So what
I
does
was
that tell
like,
you, Az?
ooh,
It tells you
no.
what's important.
And bang, straight away, I was like, ooh, that's cool. And then the
Yes.
first thing he did is he was like, can I take you for a tour and show you what we do? He
Wow.
took me for a tour. It wasn't all about him. He's like, oh, this is a great team down here. This is our display center. Mind you, best display center in Australia. God damn.
Yeah,
Mate,
right.
it's good. Anyone who hasn't been there, you got to go there. But and he took me around his team, met his team, and then he talked about himself. The other thing that he did, and I think this was around COVID, and this was a really interesting move, and I think, or maybe it wasn't around COVID. I could be wrong, and I know Anthony listens to this, so I'm sorry, mate, if I'm wrong. But one thing that he did do was he put his office right before you walk into every other office to see any other staff. And his office is, excuse this, Anthony, again, but it was the least impressive office I've ever been in for a CEO.
Yeah.
2, but he sees everyone go through. And so over COVID, everyone saw him there, talk to him. He was talking to people as going by, giving that, confirmation about where they're going, very clear about what they're about to do and what they've been doing, and a very successful company. And I talked to him about what's upcoming, and he kind of was like you said, he had anchors in the sea, man. Like he was anchored down. He's like, this is what we're doing.
Yeah, mate.
And I was like, and you are going to do it. You can see it. They've already done the best job of the current situation, I think, in terms of building, in terms of communication to customers and showing that experience quality. I'm not saying that's their anchor, but what they do represent is a great leadership and a very vision forward leader who will do nothing but to get toward that vision and bring everyone along that do agree with him. And of course, very, supported and gets conversations from various people in his team. It's not his own vision. He's the leader, but
All
very
byproduct,
interesting
actually.
how you said it, Dan, because the
Yeah.
other ones that I spoke to, and I'm not saying all of them, so please, anyone who's listening to this is not pointed, might not be pointed at you, could be pointed at you too. But, other ones, I went in there and I was just like, this is just chaos. Like,
Yes, mate.
what the hell? They're trying to just scramble through this thing. This must be a headache. I can see why sometimes I go to these builders and I see the salesperson or the operations person and I say, see you at the next builder, because they quit and they go over there and they think the chaos is less.
Yeah.
Very
Yeah.
interesting, Dan.
Well, look,
Sorry,
mate.
I went on a bit of a rant, but like what you said, he talked about leadership, team, culture.
Yes, mate.
Leadership, team, culture. And it was almost how I was introduced in a
Yeah.
way.
Yeah.
Kind of thing. Here's a few of the leaders. Here's the team. This is what we're about. This is what I do.
Yeah, mate. So important because, the building industry is
Crazy.
a tough one.
I said in there, put up a post and I said, I'd want to work for it. Like I was
Yeah,
like
okay.
sitting there going, oh, I never wanted a job again, but if I ever went to a build, I'd work for you, mate. Like I know what I'm doing and I know where we're going and I'd be on board and let's go. Like,
So good, mate. Well, let's talk to the people as that. Like, you know what? I know that and I want that, but I just can't even put my head up. Like I'm just stuck in the grind,
Yeah.
And so, you've heard that old saying, like, when's the best time to plant a tree?
Yeah.
20 years ago.
Yeah.
When's the next best time? Right now.
It's like buying a home too. Same thing, mate. It's just going that way. Like you need to keep up.
Well, that's it. It's like, okay, well, let's not remember this is what we're trying to navigate with seasons.
Yeah.
It's being present in the here and now whilst being aware of the future, being future focused. You can't have one without the other. You have to be able to manage both. When's the best time to do something? Well, probably 3 years ago, maybe 12 months ago. When's the second best time? Right now. And this is what I said at the beginning, which is like what a lot of people will do is they'll just double down on workload during hard seasons.
That's
They'll
me, bro.
pull back.
You know me.
Squirrel their resource. I would say that now's the time where we actually need to be investing. We need to be investing in leadership, team, and culture. So, for instance, we always found that hard times for our business were the times where will I do a display home this year? And the answer is, yeah, I will, because the season will change, and that seed needs to be in the ground. I need people to be coming in because I don't know if I can really put that extra salesperson on at the moment. For us, it was like, yes, absolutely, let's do it. Now's the time to do it.
Yeah.
When's the best time to start training, developing your team and getting clear on your communication, mission, vision, core values? Well, if it's not already done, now.
Yeah.
This is the problem we make, mate.
Yeah.
The problem we make is not that seasons come and go, that seasons are hard and seasons are easy. The problem is that we don't understand what the season's calling of us.
Yeah.
And I can tell you right now, whatever's to come, the season's calling us to prepare for the weight of success.
Yeah.
We're always, as leaders, asked to get to lay the foundations of success within our organizations so that we can carry it. And what is success? Success is being able to weather the lean times and to be able to carry the good times.
Yeah.
There is no such thing as one season. We're going to have good times and bad times. Maybe, you live in Melbourne, you get 4 seasons in one day. That feels like business sometimes.
Just there.
It's great,
it was.
It's terrible. It's horrible. I'm out. I'm in.
Yeah.
But beyond all of that, the idea that we're talking about is that we'll go through periods where it's easy and periods where it's not. Fair enough.
Yeah.
Let's just keep present in the moment. Let's focus on the future. But what do we got to do? We've got to make sure that those business fundamentals are in place.
Yeah.
And I'm telling you, the business fundamentals, everything else is a byproduct of leadership, team, and culture.
It is.
But also, too, when you're ready, mate, I want to also talk to you about how personally we as leaders and beyond our business can navigate seasons, tough seasons, hard seasons.
Nah. We
Yeah.
should do it, Dan. Well, mate, let's
Yeah.
do part 2 of this pod and let's talk about that, Dan. And I'd love to talk to you about it personally anyway, mate.
Mm.
I think the other thing that I've picked up over my journey of the good builder the past 18 months, talking to you, looking around at people like Anthony Blackshaw and some other great leaders that I really respect, Phil Barrett, Tony Gold, all these guys, which I think like I look at it all, right? And I'm like, okay, how did you deliver such a good business? Everyone's got to know their thing. So I thought, okay, so I started, talking to builder coaches and things like that. I talked to sales coaches. I talked to builder coaches that teach financial admin and all this sort of thing. And I'm going, that's the key. That's the key. Anyway, then I'm talking to all these builders coming to the studio. This will be about the 300th episode. So I've talked to a lot, and then most of them don't come on. So I talk to a lot. And they go, I've been to this coach, I've been to that coach, I've been to this coach, I've been to that coach. And I'm like, you've been through everyone we've interviewed and you're still trying to find the secret. Then I see, as I was saying, I meet people like Anthony Blackshaw and businesses that are running really well. And the common factor in it all is they've laid the right foundations. All of the other shit isn't the secret to success. Just because you can do a cash flow spreadsheet isn't the secret to success. You need to know when to do it, what to look for, what kind of business you are, and what that means for your team, not just get the calculation at the end of the thing, which is a lot of what these business coaches are teaching. And so anyway, in my brain, and this is why, we'll continue to have you back on, Dan, and you support us, we support you to the hilt, man. But like fundamentally, the first thing you should do is make sure you have the foundations of leadership right, because everything else falls into place in my mind once you have that. All those other issues that people go to builder coaches for, I'm not having a shot at them, but from what I can see, that is just a subset of not knowing who you are. For example, I saw a marketing agency run a workshop. It cost $9,000 for 2 days to go to this workshop, and I know people that went to it. And the first thing they told them, Dan, and the only thing that you really get out of it, because everything else is frickin' easy, who are you and what's your point of difference?
Yeah, there you go.
I'm just like, oh my God. Like you shouldn't be waiting till you got a marketing problem to do that. You should be doing it way in the beginning. And in the end, you wouldn't have a marketing problem if you did the leadership foundational stuff, knew your why, knew your mission, knew your vision, knew your core values. You wouldn't have a marketing issue because you'd be communicating that to the client and displaying it through the way you build in your leadership like you did. Like I never touched you at GJ's with marketing, Dan. I had other franchisees screaming out to me. I was screaming out to you guys to participate in our national marketing. So I knew that we'd be in good hands and that you'd make us look good. Like it was, you know what I mean? So it's very interesting for me on this journey of the good builder, because I had a podcast this week, and sorry, I'm going on a rant. I said to the guy, I actually want to put together, I want to, and I want you to be part of this, and I'm going to do it. I'll put the call out on this other podcast, but I'll put it on this one too. So if you listen to the Toby Loft one or you listen to the Dan one, you'll hear it. I want a builder that we will pay for all the systems. We will pay for everything. We want to make them a walking case study in what makes a good builder.
Wow.
And we're going to start with leadership with 10,000 feet deep.
Wow.
I want them to do a leadership course. I want them to implement some of the systems and processes that we advise or support the good builder, because we've vetted a lot of stuff. And I would love to see the improvement in their business and just try to crack through the shit that's out there of money that people were spending. Like, I've got a real bee in my bonnet with marketing agencies and what they cost, because I ran a really low cost one and did a great job. And you look around, these people are ripping them off. And I'm like, I'll show you how to do the marketing. You'll do it yourself and you'll get as much as you need. And you don't have to worry about any bills from an agency that doesn't know your business. Same sort of thing with you, Dan. I'm like, you go to all these builder coaches, you're trying to fix the problems, kinks in the hose at a stage which is down the track of where the problem actually is, which is leadership. You know what I mean, Dan?
Yeah.
Like it's like the $33 billion I'm talking about at the moment. And now I'm going on another rant. I'm going to shut up real soon. But like, I'm like, the $33 billion, and you can go, oh, I won't say the association's name, but, they're not spending the money properly. No, let's not let the money get to them. Let's disperse that $33 billion properly right from the beginning. And we don't have those kinks down the road. Same sort of thing with a building business. It's like, you don't need a builder coach here. You need to lay your foundations here with good leadership, know who you are, how you're going to drive the culture in your team, what your team's going to do, what positions everyone play. You're the coach. Bang. You won't have to spend money down the track for a builder coach that's going to cost you 12 grand, give you nothing, and do some chat GPT spreadsheets and, put up some fucking Claude prompts and think they know shit. And most of them have gone broke, by the way. Anyway, that's my rant, Dan. That is where I think it's at, mate. Like, I really want to do it because I think, there's no educational pathway. I'm not saying the good builder is, but I think what we can do is a living case study and show the proofs in the pudding and do it in a way that's no risk to a builder, just to really help their business of a proactive one that wants to go for it. And we want to protect the industry. And if that becomes a living case study and we go, oh, okay, well, maybe the good builder academy starts and you jump into the academy. We're not going to charge you, whatever. We'll do some sort of thing, but Dan, you go into the Dan module, bang, 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 you get a good leadership. Boom, you go into the next one. Anyway, maybe I'm going on a rant, but that's a bit of a vision for me, mate. I want to give them a good pathway to success. And I think you start as the step number one and you watch the problems down the track. We won't be having this builder who sets himself up or herself up properly down the track going, I need a builder coach.
Yeah, well, it's good thinking, mate. I mean, that's Vision 101, isn't it, what you're doing there?
I'm doing it, man.
And you're trying to solve a problem. And
Yeah.
so one thing I'd say to all of that too, though, is one illusion that we want to dispel, maybe that's where we can go now for a bit,
Yeah.
is that one illusion we want to dispel is that we're called to be good at everything, because we're absolutely not. In this
That's
new
right.
business, why I've been thinking about seasons a lot more lately, is because the season that I'm in, I'm actually under tension again with a lot of the same issues I faced early days in my last business. And this is why we can help each other collectively.
Yeah.
And why seeking really good professional help is so important, because people have been there before us and solved the problems that we haven't solved yet. That'd be one thing. And some people are really good at some stuff. You're an amazing marketer as well as other skill sets that you have.
Don't have any.
Whereas I'm hopeless, bro. Like, honestly, mate, I don't even look at Facebook. And so I need help in that area. And so what I'm finding, though, is it's that. So it's professional services around me.
Yeah.
I've got Kirby helping us from Build Mentor. He's been helping us with just some sales stuff.
Awesome.
You've helped us with some marketing. We're doing this together. So look, I'm trying to pull people into my world, my orbit, which is what we're getting back to, that investment thought. Now, we're a startup. Can we afford it? You feel like squirreling your money away, but you got to invest. You got to be able to plant that tree today that can bear fruit for you tomorrow. So it's being present in the moment whilst knowing what you need for the future. You got to invest now for the future.
100%.
You got to buckle down and double down on leadership, team, and culture right now. But here's the thought: we need to, in this season that we're in, good, bad, or in between. We just need to recognize what are we good at.
Yeah.
What do we need to outsource?
Absolutely.
What can the team do? Well, you might say it this way: what am I good at, leader? What's the team going to cover? And then what do we need to outsource? And maybe you don't need to outsource much. We had, back in our building business, we had an awesome girl work for us, and she said she worked for the company on and off at times. She had bubs, all that kind of stuff, and she did various roles. And then when we took the business on, she started working a little bit in marketing, and she said to Natty, you know what, I don't really want to do marketing. And Nat and her started working together, and that gave us some frameworks and some, and developing her in that area. Not that we knew a heap about it, but you know what? She became an awesome marketer.
That's cool.
To the degree that when she left our organization, she started her own marketing company that helped guys to be able to pull that together, social media and stuff.
Cool.
So this is the thought, when we start to look at our leadership, look at our team, look at our culture, the idea is that we develop from within. That we start to build what it is that our organization needs.
Yeah.
But where that's not a reality right now, being faithful in the now, looking into the future, we've needed to outsource. I've needed to get some people in to be able to help me get my head around some stuff.
Yeah.
We're in, what would you call it? I'd say we're in a winter season. Where it's like, well, it's not all flowing in the door. It's not everything's going crackingly. We're in the grind. Things are hard because we're setting things up and we're just being honest about where things are at. So what have I got to do?
I love it.
I got to be focused on the now. I got to be faithful with the now, but I got to be investing for the future. Now, just like any business, there's risk. You got to be wise with that. But here's the thing: if you don't do it, when the next season turns, when the future comes, you won't be ready.
Yeah.
You,
I reckon it happens all the time, Dan. And
it
I
does,
reckon
and it's
that's
not because
why
they're
a
bad
lot of us
people,
operate.
not because they're bad business owners, not because they're bad
No,
leaders. It's
no.
just knowing right now in the season you're in. Let's say it this way, if you don't mind,
Yeah.
and I mean this professionally and personally. And
Yeah.
I'd love for listeners to, wherever you are, just maybe stop for 5 minutes.
Mm.
What we want to ask is, what do we need to drop off? What do we need to take up? And what do we need to move on from?
Yeah.
Let's think about that in context of everything we've spoken about, leadership, team culture, all the aspects of seasons and things that are going to come against us. Let's never think pass and fail.
Mm.
Let's never think I'm good at this, I'm crap at that. Let's just know our strengths, know what the team needs to deliver, and then let's outsource if that's what's required. But
Yeah.
we do need to do this. We do need to go, what do I need to drop off? I was working with
Yeah.
some of our clients just recently and asked this question. We had one
Yeah.
client who said negativity. You
Yeah.
know, mate, I just been under the pump. You know, we've owned our business for X amount of years. It was tough from the moment that we put our foot in the door. And I found that I'm just gotten negative. I need to drop that off.
Yeah.
I was speaking to another client of ours and they said procrastination.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
I've got a good business. I've had a good business. I'll have a good business in 10 years, but I procrastinated on, actually, if I'm honest, I want to take it from good to great. And if I'm
Yeah.
going to take it from good to great, I'm going to have to drop off procrastinism.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
he's being present in the moment. He's being future focused. What do we got to drop off?
I love
Okay.
it.
Next thought, bro.
Yeah.
What do we got
Go
to
for it.
take up?
Yeah.
You know,
Well.
and so,
Yeah.
for one of my clients, it was, I'm going to be positive in the negative. Whatever I face,
Love it. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
I'm going to take up I'm going to take up a positive mindset around this stuff.
Powerful.
What have I got to take up? Another guy I was talking to, it was like my mental and physical health. I've let
Yeah.
it suffer.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
I've been in the grind. I've put my head down. I can't do it anymore. And if I'm honest, I would say that to me at the moment. I need to take that up. Need to
You always look
take
good,
up
Dan, though. You always look fit, mate.
physical exercise again, whatever.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then here's maybe the most important.
Mm.
What do we need to move on from?
Yeah.
What do we need to drop off? What do we need to take up? What do we need to move on from? Now, what do I mean here as? Now, this is where I might get a little bit deep and personal.
Yeah. Go for it, mate.
We go through stuff that scars us,
Yeah.
that hurts us. We need to call it. We need to own it. We need to name it. We need to
Yeah.
deal with it. We need to heal from it
Yeah.
so that we don't carry that stuff into the next season.
Yeah.
And can I just be honest with you, mate? I feel
Yeah.
like, we did have a successful business, but it didn't come without a cost. It didn't come without a toll. And at times I feel like I've moved into the next season without dealing with the
Yeah.
baggage from the last season.
Yeah.
Now,
Well.
I'm not talking, we're very blessed. We've had an amazing life. We've got an amazing life, got beautiful family. I'm not talking, people go through horrific stuff. And of course I mean that, but I
Yeah.
also just mean season of time where you did everything on your own, for instance, and
Yeah.
you looked around, you could never find anybody to support and help you. And
Yeah.
now you've
Yeah.
got a good team, but you're stuck in the grind like you don't have a good team. Mate,
Yeah.
you need to be able to move on from that. You
Yeah.
need to be able to heal and go, you know what? I haven't been able to trust my team in the future, but I'm going to trust them right now. I'm going
Yeah.
to drop off trying to do everything myself. I'm going to take up leadership and team and culture development. And I'm going to move on from thinking that I've got to fix every problem,
Yeah.
because that's a
Yeah.
scar, mate.
Yeah. Yeah.
For
Yeah.
other people, it can be a season of lack where it didn't matter
Mm.
what you did, you just couldn't get ahead. And
Yeah.
now you see you see the light at the end of the tunnel, and yet you're living in fear, and
Yeah.
you're not allowing yourself to invest because you're scared that the gravy train will stop and you'll be back to square one. Hey, you need to drop the fear off. You need
Yeah.
to pick up that positivity, that thought that, what, I'm going to do these things as a byproduct. I'm going
I
to
love
plant
it.
this now so that I can sow this and I can reap this in the future. And I need to deal with that fear. And that was a big
Yeah.
one for me too, mate. Dealing with
Yeah.
fear is a massive thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
So anyway,
But you know what?
just quickly, what do we need to
No,
drop
sorry.
off?
Yep.
What do we need to take up? And what do we need to move on from? What do we need to draw a line in the sand and say, you know what, that was bloody tough.
Yeah.
But it's not
Yeah.
going to define who we are as an organization. It's not going to define me as a person. It's not going to define me as a leader. I'm going to draw a
Yeah.
line in the sand. I'm going to heal and I'm going to move on.
Love it. You know what, Dan? But I find the thing is, and I reckon this would resonate with everybody, is asking those hard questions of yourself is very hard to do.
It
It's
is
very
to
hard
do.
to do, Dan. Like, and who does that? Who really does that? I reckon there's some exceptional people that do, but I don't think 99.9% of the population do that. They want to hold themselves a little bit accountable day to day and things like that.
But can I tell you what I reckon the answer to that is as?
Go for it.
Leadership was never, ever meant to be done alone.
No, and this is it, Dan. This is it. This is where I'm getting at, right? Because I've gone through the same thing, and you know the person that I am outside of the good builder and everything. I'm the same sort of person, but like my whole life has been pretty doing a lot of stuff by myself, you know, and just surviving. So I have this mentality, honestly, and this is going to be pretty open with everyone out there, but I have this mentality that I can just do what I want in a way, and I'll just do it myself and I'll be okay. And that's not cool, man. Like, it can get you to some dark places. It gets me to dark places. You know that, Dan. Like, you brought me out of dark places early on with the good builder. I remember the text message, "You're a unifier." That changed my whole perspective on everything.
Yeah.
I love the industry, but I was doing so much and butting my head against the wall. We got down, I told you, Dan, we're down to our $263 from $250,000 in the bank. Fuck, man, like that's a dark place. And then no one's wanting to help. No supply. All suppliers wanted to jump on the Good Builder podcast and do it for free. And they would take everything they could from me, but they weren't giving anything back. And so I was in a deep, dark place. Remember that, Dan?
I do remember it. I do remember
And I'm just being real honest here. And so the good builder wouldn't be around without people like you that have pulled me out of those dark places and gone, remember the leader that you are and why you do it. What is your why? And you questioned me, and I started your course. I haven't finished it. I know it's been going forever, Dan, and I will one day.
You're good, mate.
Like, even the beginning of that course, I questioned myself. There was a lot to question and then understand about myself. And I'm not just plugging your course. I think that it's just a process we all need to go through, and why I love what you do. I think, and if you don't have a roadmap to get there, you're not going to get there. You're just not going to get there, mate. Like,
Well,
you know,
mate, the thing is that it's a grind.
It
You know, and I'll put my hand up at the moment. Like, I'm going through a process right now, and this is why it's important to me,
yeah,
where I'm having to deal with some stuff, having to call because some stuff within me. You know, and I'm not trying to be fluffy here and
yeah, no.
and what I'm saying is that whether we like it or not,
Mm.
well, they say this as even if people just believe this aspect, 80% of success. This is scientifically proven. I actually think I think it's a low percentage. I think it's more, but they would say that 80% of success comes down to the way you think.
Yeah,
And our experiences shape the way we think.
yeah,
Our emotions shape it. Now, we can be rough and tumble. That's all good. Us fellas and builders especially, we don't need, cuddle every day. We've learned how to just knuckle down and rip in. But see, this is the thought, is that that's not what moves the needle.
Nah.
Working hard doesn't move the needle.
Nah.
Not when you're a leader.
Nah.
You know, like, I'm not saying it doesn't have a place, but if all you do is work hard, you're going to fall into this trap that you always have more to do than time to do it. Because a lot of leadership is sowing right now for the future in areas of our business that aren't related to workload.
Yeah.
So team and culture development, it looks like that's an investment of time.
Yeah.
You know, communication, that's an investment. Investing in yourself.
Yeah.
You know, investing in system and process, role and responsibility. You know, there's a lot that happens in business and leadership that's future.
Yeah.
You plan it now, and it looks like nothing's going to come of it. And then, like, one of the big things that happened with us in our business during COVID is that, and this is no boast, but we weathered that storm. We lost a lot of money, but we were profitable. And we lost a lot of money because that's just what happened in COVID, of course. You sign a contract and then price rises going up and you can't pull it back.
I shouldn't laugh, but yeah, it is. It's just what it is.
We're still profitable. I'm not saying that we didn't have any team tensions and issues, because we certainly did, like everybody, but we kept the team together. We built more homes than we ever did before. Our customer care report stayed at over 95% customer satisfaction. So all the metrics of byproduct were intact because of the work that we'd done in the past.
Yeah,
if we started to scramble and do that work during COVID, it would have just been another thing to do, and we wouldn't have had the time or the emotional energy to do it.
No,
guys, leadership is about being present and focused on the now and investing in the future, being insightful on what's to come.
Yeah.
And when's the best time to plant a tree? 20 years ago. When's the next best time? Right now. It's
Yeah.
knowing what is going to stabilize your business and give you a foundation right now. Leadership, team, and culture. Now, we've talked about that. Let's put that aside. What about you personally? What about you, the leader? Hey,
Yeah.
we need to ask ourselves 3 questions. What do we need to drop off? What do we need to take up? And what do we need to move on from? What do we need to heal from? Because even
Yeah.
you as,
Yeah.
and I can speak to you about this. You're a really honest fella, mate.
Yeah.
And I'll
Yeah.
tell you that I'm going through it right now myself.
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
problem is when we don't heal and deal with stuff, we carry it into the next season.
Oh, mate, I've
It's
been
like
carrying it
putting
my whole life.
a ball and chain around your leg or carrying this massive big weight around your shoulders.
Yeah.
And we need to, even if it's asking this question, hey, what just happened? What did we go through?
Yeah. Yeah.
And asking yourself, okay, based on that last season, everything I went through, what do I need to drop off? What do I need to take up? And what do I need to move on and deal with? You know what? You do that fairly regularly and it might not be much.
Yeah.
But if you don't ask yourself those questions fairly regularly, every 6 months or so, every 6 months, definitely when there's big changes coming like we're just about to go through, you're going to struggle.
Yeah. And it affects you in different ways, Dan,
It does,
which
mate.
is the interesting bit. Like before we got on this pod, you saw how revved up I am about certain injustices that I feel are happening, right? You know, that's a result of what I felt were injustices in my life.
Yeah.
And so I just go, and you saw anyone who saw the videos in Melbourne, I'm going to the gym going 300 million, get wasted. And that whole thing fueled my gym session. I probably haven't lifted heavier in my life because I was pissed off about how they're spending money. And then I'm going down this route. And then the other day I got a call from someone that I really value. And they're like, you seem really uptight, man. Like, where's the positivity and the good builder? Like, you're just hammering people, like, hammered that marketing agency. You're hammering the government on this stuff. Like, where was the solution stuff? And I'm just so caught up in this thing that I haven't dealt with, like you said, from past seasons of injustices that I felt, but you carry on and it affects your business decisions, it affects your personal decisions, it affects the way you talk to your wife sometimes. It affects a whole bunch of stuff bigger than what you think it does. So I love that you put that. And I think that's what I'm saying, Dan. Like you've got to set the foundation right. And I think if you're going to get into business, if you're going to get into life, you got to start by doing something like what you do, Dan. Like I really do, mate. It's the why behind why you do everything and how you're going to act, and like you said, how you're going to tackle the future.
I love it, mate. I'll give you a personal example for me right now.
Yeah,
like we sold our business. We've set this new business. We're going now a couple of years, if you will. We've been going for a good couple of years, but we sort of ramped it up after we sold the business, of course. And you know, we've had a lot going on. We're doing a fair bit. This is what I'm finding. My capacity to carry stuff is not as great as it has been. So in the past where I've been able to carry and push and just keep going and just find a way, it's not there at the moment. And I'm asking myself, why? What the hell's going on there? And so I'm being a bit reflective, and I'm like, well, I transitioned very quickly from one season to the next, and I don't think I asked myself, what do I drop off? What do I take up? What do I move on from? I don't think there's some stuff I haven't moved on from, and I gotta find out what that is. But I can tell you another thing.
Yeah.
I don't think this next season I'm meant to carry all of this stuff. You know, I'm doing this, and this. You know what? I feel like I've really got to find what it is that I do. You know, and in this new business, you know, I work on content. I work on communication, and you know what?
Running the entire workshops.
That's probably
like
it.
too, Dan. Yeah, it's a lot, mate.
That's probably it, because you know we've got a team here that can carry the rest of it. You know, I'm not heavy into business like I was, in my previous building business. This one for me is I'm kind of outside of that, and I've got some unique things that I bring this organization. I'm not meant to do it all. And you know, when I've started coming in, I'm trying to do it all. I'm trying to carry it all myself, and it started to, I'm like, damn, I'm not, you know, something's not right here. Like I should be able to operate at this level. This should be working. This should be, and you know what I'm finding is that, no, I need to delegate.
Yeah.
My wife has been absolutely critical in this season. And it's funny because what I'm lacking right now, my wife is picking up and wants to do it and is awesome at it.
Yeah.
And yet there's stars within me that goes, no, let me do it. I want to do it. And it's like,
I should be doing it.
This season is saying to me, well, mate, okay, go for it.
Yeah.
But it's not, I can't.
Yeah.
And I don't know why, but I'm going to accept it. And I'm going to look and I'm going to go, all right, okay, then what do I need to drop off? What do I need to take up? And what do I need to heal from? Because all the other seasons that we've been in, have just been ripping. We're definitely investing in team culture, definitely investing in business, definitely in business and all that stuff.
Yeah.
But I don't think I took time to breathe,
Yeah. Yeah, I
time to
think you did.
chill out, time to not be about what I do,
Yeah.
rather just
Yeah.
who I am.
Yeah.
And this season, it's caught up a little bit with me. I'm going to go through
Yeah.
this process myself. I'm going through it.
Yeah,
And I
Dan.
believe what will come out the back end is a work-life balance and a pressure that's not mine to carry.
Yeah.
And
Nah,
if I
that's cool,
don't
Dan.
deal with it it'll affect my future. Absolutely. And it'll
Yeah.
affect this business.
But that's what you know, Dan. That's what you know. Many people don't know. And that I've learnt from you, Dan. And I love how you said that was so raw, mate. I'm going through the same thing. It's really funny. Not funny, probably predictable for me. You know me. I think you're a wonderful bloke, and I have the most respect for you, Dan. And it's really cool. Not cool to hear, but like I never thought you went through those seasons. So I'm
We
just
all
like,
do, mate.
no,
And that's
Dan's
what I want to
always
talk about.
controlled. And why do I call you personally, Dan, don't I? Like we had a chat last week, and I'm blah, 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 blah. And then sometimes you get me, and I'm like, I'm cool, Dan. Like things are going good, man. Like, yeah, it's all right.
But mate, we
yeah,
all go through it and this is the
yeah,
thing,
yeah.
it's part of what I haven't liked about this aspect of business is that you get on
I
social
know.
media and you're obviously talking to people about things that help them. But hey, look, we're all on a journey. What
Yeah,
they say about, the people that are ahead of you, they're only a couple of steps ahead and only in one or two
yeah,
areas.
yeah, yeah,
It's like, no, we're all going through stuff. All of
yeah,
us. We're all in the
yeah,
same boat. We're all needing to develop ourselves. We're all needing to heal from stuff. We're all needing to drop certain stuff off, pick certain stuff up, and be able to move on from other things. No one's better than anybody else. We might have different skill sets, different
yeah.
capabilities, but mate, we're all human.
I love it.
Social media kind of set up. It's like drink more water, get up earlier, do more
Mm.
push-ups, eat better food, be better parents. It's like it can just feel like a constant failing on our end. Guys,
Oh
that's not
yeah,
what it's about. It's about just being able to influence the things you can influence. It's
love it.
being able to be grateful for the things you've got. It's being able to be future present and future focused, faithful with the now, but also have an eye on the future. And
Yeah,
it's what's required for what's coming.
yeah.
But let's not think that everyone else has got it going on because they haven't. No one has. Doesn't
Nah,
matter what it looks like, mate.
and I think it's a pretty good end to the pod, Dan. I think everyone's going through a season, aren't they?
They
Everyone's
are,
going
mate.
through their own seasons when you look through, and I think that's why it resonated with me. But I love just chatting through it with you. I feel better from it, like, and I think it's come out the other side. Like I really do believe, Dan, that it starts the ability to get through a season, the ability to weather a season is your ability to be a good leader and have those foundations and anchors and knowing where you're going. I think that was one of the coolest points that I've ever heard on this podcast, dealing with the baggage that you had in the past. Everyone has, like we talk about the post-COVID PTSD
Yeah,
still.
bro.
People
Exactly,
still
mate.
haven't got past that. And I'm not saying it's hard to get past, but you do that. And as I said, I think, and you were very raw, mate, I've got tons of baggage that I carry personally from experiences that I know affect a lot of stuff. And if it wasn't, and due to my personality sometimes, and you called me out on it, Dan, when you sent me that Unify message, actually, due to my personality and my baggage that I'm slowly getting rid of, you saw me, man. I go into a shell. No one can contact me. And I'll just get in my shell and I will just smash away at stuff and work harder. And then
Yeah.
I'll come out the other side.
Yeah.
Totally exhausted, totally pissed off.
Yeah.
My wife hates me. My daughter hates me, but I got the job done.
Yeah.
And then I hate myself.
Yeah. That's it, mate.
It's
And
like,
this is the thing. You just nailed it, bro. We're just meant to do,
yeah,
no one's meant to do leadership alone.
no,
Because as much as I've said that everyone's got something going on, there are people that are specialists to help in areas, and
which is you, mate.
mate,
Absolutely.
it's what I've loved about you is that you are so raw and honest because it's like nobody needs to be told by another person how to live their life.
No, I'll tell
But
you how
I
I've
can
lived
tell you
mine all
this,
day.
I have appreciated on this planet the specialists that have come into my world.
Yeah.
You know what? I don't do my own accounts, never have.
Yeah,
Well,
yeah,
isn't
yeah.
it awesome that I have the world's best accountant?
Yeah,
And
yeah,
you know
yeah.
what? I've never looked after my own legal stuff.
Yeah.
You know why? Because
Yeah.
I'd go, it'd be a nightmare. So I've got the world's best lawyer.
Yeah.
And then I look at other specialists, like talked about sales. I want to bring specialists into my world. Do I think
Yeah,
they're good
yeah.
at everything?
Yeah, yeah.
No, they're not good at everything. but they're good at the thing that I'm not good at this very moment in time. And as you're a legend, mate,
Mm.
what my desire for you is that that you'll have good people in your camp, mate, who can
Oh, I do.
strengthen you in your weaknesses
You're in there, mate.
and help you through
Yeah.
those seasons, because we all need it, eh?
Yeah, I've got a few in my camp now, but like I'll be truly honest, I didn't in the past,
Yeah, it's so
before I probably
important, mate.
started the Good Builder. Really interesting, and so this has been great for me, the Good Builder. Thank you, everyone. But particularly having, getting closer to you, Dan, and being able to do that, mate, has taught me a lot. But I think this podcast is a very pertinent one. We didn't give you the technical answers on how to build, but I think what we gave you is the answer on how to live a good life and run a good business and set the foundations right. Seasons was the topic. Seasons will always be there, but it's the things that I think anchor you that are going to win, give you a bit of a winning life, and you'll enjoy it more, Dan. I love our chats every single time, man. So
Thanks, bro. You're a legend, mate.
well, mate,
Thank you.
I do have to log off, but I will put all the links below for Dan. Have a chat with him, guys. Actually, like I said about that builder case study, we are going to do it. So a builder out there, I've got a few on the mind that I'm going to get in touch with anyway. So it's going to happen. But if anyone wants to jump in first, get in touch. We're going to put them through the course. We're going to do all of that. We're going to show what makes a good builder and set up their businesses right. And I really want to make this a living case study. To Dan, mate, thank you so much for all you share on the podcast. And yeah, man, I can't do this alone. We are the prime example of not doing it alone, because if I sat here every day and preached leadership, sales process, things like that, shit I've never done, I'd have no listeners. You're the reason we have listeners, mate. So thank you.
Cheers, mate. You're a legend.
All right, Dan.
See you guys. All the best.